As part of team management, you'll need to be updating your team's status on an ongoing basis. In this lesson, we'll see how to look up multiple teams so you can enter or update information about them all in a row versus doing them one by one in the individual team record. For practice, let's say that you've been out in the field the last 3 days with your teams and you want to quickly update their sponsorship numbers. After logging in, make sure you're in the correct campaign year. Here you see I'm in 2015. Go down to the Teams tab, drop down, and select Lookup Teams. This brings you to the Team Lookup section where you can filter for the particular teams that you need to work with. This could be an event location you just visited, or it could be an entire division of teams or one of the other search variables that are available. For demonstration, I'm going to select the event location of Schenectady. Scrolling down. Also, I specifically worked with all the teams assigned to the CSO of GE, so I'm going to filter for that as well. After entering GE as one of my filters and having clicked search, I want to be able, you can notice from my search results that I got 19 teams that did match my request for filtering. From here, what I want to be able to do then is go down and click on the Goals tab. This takes me to a spreadsheet where I can start to enter data for all the teams listed rather than going to them one by one. There are 64 columns in this spreadsheet, all of which populate the T32 report. The T32 is the primary go-to report for all of team management. All goals, other commitments, and dates are entered here, and it's a fairly large spreadsheet. It might be easier to make it a bit smaller so you can work in it without doing a lot of scrolling. To do so, point your cursor into any one of the column headings and then right-click. A box will pop up that has all the fields listed with a checkbox next to it. Deselect any one of the boxes to hide that column for now. See how they're moving out? You're not deleting anything, you're just hiding it to make your spreadsheet simplified for entry. Here I'm just taking up most of the columns, with the exception of sponsorship, since that is what I want to work on right now. Once I've hidden these columns, I click on Save Settings. Keep in mind you don't have to hide the columns, just do it if it helps you. Notice here it says Grid Settings Saved. To bring these columns back, all you have to do is open the box listing again, as I have here, and click on the column you want to bring back in. Notice now that we're having movement putting the columns back in. Don't forget after you've done this to go ahead and save your settings one more time. Now that you have the columns you want, you can start entering data. Click on the first field next to the team name. You notice how I'm going to click down on another one. Notice how there's a slight color change where it becomes a little bit more dark, if you will. I'll go back and see the other one. Make sure you don't click on the individual team name itself. Notice how it turns into the pointy finger. That takes you to the individual team details screen, and right now you want to stay in the overall grid. As I already mentioned, you'll see a color change to a slight gray that indicates that you're in the team line. You also see, as you're looking through, the columns where there's a blue color. This indicates a column where you can enter data. Well, on the particular team line, use your tab key. Here I am in one of the team lines. I'm in actually the one where there's a blue, so I could enter data. Using my tab key, I'm going to tab over from column to column. In the blue data entry fields, either enter data or click the calendar. You notice now here's a calendar where I can enter a date. Keep tabbing over to each column, as that is the save feature. Notice how we're changing here. There is no other save button, a very important thing to know. When ready to go to the next team in the spreadsheet, either arrow down or simply just take your cursor and click it into the next team field line as such. You can see I'm still changing the color because I'm just putting my cursor into there. This grid is a quick entry method. If you need to make changes that are not on the column fields for entry, such as team address, changes, people changes, additions, you can click on the team name, remember when we turn into the pointy finger, from the grid, which takes you to the individual team record, as so. When you do so, it's also a nice double check method to note whether your mass entry data has been saved. Note that each of the fields from your grid are also in each of these individual team record tabs as well. As so, we have status, we have goals, we have history. So everything that you put into that overall grid is going to populate itself over onto this side. To return to your overall grid from an individual team record, use the breadcrumb trail as we talked about before, and click on Look Up Team. From there, once again, click on the Goals tab. We've just reviewed the team grid method of data entry. Important things to remember are the team lookup, narrow down the teams you want to work with up front. Next, shorten the fields in the grid to make entry easier without a lot of scrolling. And finally, make sure you use your tab key to save data. Remember, there are tip sheets and PowerPoints on Dimension that provide assistance for this and many other functions in Fred. Thank you.